Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 196 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. We are refreshed, we are reset, and we are recharged after 1 week off. But don't worry, we have a very exciting Christmas present for you early. It's episode 196 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. It comes your way next. Let's get it. Episode 196 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Happy holidays to each and every one of you. And thank you, as always, for your support and the support of our sponsors, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett, Pest, and Termite Services, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Shenandoah Music, and the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast, Don't Sleep Energy. Use promo code KOS Podcast for 12% off your order every single time. It's been an eventful week. I can't get my words out, but we took the week off, but we still have a lot to talk about as the boys and myself, the three-man booth, traveled to M&T Bank last weekend. So we'll touch on that and a little bit more. But bringing in the first member of the Kirby on Sports podcast, the weapon, Dan Dembski. Dan, happy holidays, my friend.
Happy holidays. I can't believe it's here. This year's gone by so quickly. But yeah, I hope everybody stays safe and warm during the holiday season. Enjoy the time with your families. And most importantly, maybe not most importantly, enjoy the football.
Oh, yeah. There is a ton of football. There is a lot of football that we are unable to talk about. A lot of good football that we're unable to talk about from last week because we took off, including the Ravens-Rams game, which we'll touch on our experience, so on and so forth, for a little bit before we get into this week. And let's bring on the next member of our team. Not sure where he is. The Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez. Not sure where he is.
Oh, yes, sir.
There it is.
Hey!
Sir.
Santa's here. Let's go.
Army Knife of Claus has arrived. And I'm carrying some gifts. Indeed. Give me 1 second. For the good old boys club over here in Kirby on Sportsland. For Dan, I present to you a potential PickEm's championship, potential to be determined later in the year, but I have it here ready for you just in case you do pull off the victory. As for you, Kirby, I have some corn nuts because that was the corniest intro I've ever heard. Indeed. Well, everybody here except for Kirby has been very good.
Was that planned for the start?
Yes.
Everybody here has been very good this year, especially the Swiss Army knife, who has been carrying the show with the entertainment value. For him, I got him a red Camaro. It was nice seeing you gentlemen once again, and I will see you guys next year.
There you go.
Okay, well, thank you to Carlos Claus. As always, I guess he will. I don't know what's going on.
What a gift that was. That made my whole holiday season.
Yes, it did. It was so great to see Carlos Claus.
I'm really in the spirit now. Let's go.
I guess he left
He had to go make a couple more deliveries. So
Okay, well, let's get this show on the
It's a-
road,
it's a
Daniel.
busy
Why
time of year.
don't we?
let's do it.
Yeah. So until we figure out when Carlos is coming back, we recently made the trip to M&T Bank Stadium. My first overtime game and my first rain game. I tell you, rain football, it's not that bad. The forecast projected a lot of heavy rain, drizzling, a mixture, but it sort of held off for the entirety of the game, which made it feel nice. It was still warm, not that cold rain, but sort of a warm rain. And I mean, we bundled up for the occasion. And I mean, I looked ridiculous in my rain suit, but it's to keep
Nobody
her.
thought you looked ridiculous. I don't know where you're getting this from.
No, I'm just saying because of my rain suit.
No,
But
you were fun.
what a great experience. Despite the rain and the bad weather, it was still a pretty great football game. And that ending too. Holy cow, that ending.
Yeah, it was as a Ravens fan, it was about what I've come to expect most of the time for the Baltimore Ravens.
Guys, what just
as far as the
happened?
performance. I don't know.
What happened?
Santa was here. You missed it.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Santa
Like,
was
my
here.
feed completely cut out.
We're sorry.
Well,
We're sorry. We're sorry you missed him, man. He was great.
Tragic.
oh my god.
Tragic. No,
Yeah.
well, I guess I'll see you next
Corn
year.
nuts for the podcast.
You missed a
host.
lot, Carlos.
I guess I did. I guess I'll just have to rewatch it. Ho ho ho.
to see what you missed.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about the Ravens, our experience, Carlos, since you're just joining us. What a fun game that was.
It was a lot of fun. It was very wet, but yeah, that game was a blast. It was an absolute blast. But let's never do a rain game again.
It wasn't as bad as some other rain games I've been to. I will say
It wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to.
It was
Because
just
honestly,
drizzly
it didn't
kind
rain
of
for
day.
most of it. It like at least between like the middle part of the game, it stopped, and then luckily by the time we got out of the stadium, that's
pouring.
when the heavy rain hit.
Yeah, that's when that band came through. Yeah.
Overall, it was such a good time. Dan, I'm so happy that you got to see such an epic win.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I'm rocking the Roquan Smith jersey that I bought that I had to search around the whole stadium for because, God forbid, they had the size large, jersey.
Most popular size, I'm sure.
God forbid they'd have a size large Lamar jersey also.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Fair
to
enough.
find.
That's also fair. And God forbid they would have a black one as well because they did not have any black jerseys, and it was very frustrating looking around for one. But I ended up going with Agent Zero. Because I did say if I can't get a Lamar jersey, I'm going to get a Roquan jersey. And it was down between a Roquan jersey and a Rashad Bateman jersey, but I had already made the commitment, so I was like, nah, I'm getting the Zero jersey. So
we all know
I'm
who's got a
for
cooler
the show
cooler
today.
nickname.
I'm rocking it for the show today. I'm unfortunately still not officially part of what's the fan base called? Ravens Flock?
The Flock, yeah, Ravens.
Yeah,
Flock.
yeah. I'm not an official member. But I will be repping you guys today.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
We'll take all the support we can get, whether temporary or permanent.
I'm sure the Weapon Dan Dembski and Real Fan Dan really appreciates that.
The Dans, we have to stick together in this world. It's tough out there for non-Dans.
Are we gonna talk about how we sat in that section? It was epic.
Yeah, we got to sit with Real Fan Dan, who does the Ravens cheer after every score, and I think other random times it seems throughout the game.
It feels like whenever it's like a big moment,
a big play.
There's energy needed in the stadium.
Yeah, and he was awesome. We took Josh and I. Sorry, his name's Kirby, but
his name is Josh, but we call him Kirby.
We call him Kirby. Kirby and I took a selfie with him. He was really nice to do that real quick. We almost interrupted the game action, so we had to get out of there pretty quick. But
yeah,
no,
it was really nice.
Really, really nice, and he was taking pictures with a bunch of fans. I saw later on too, which is really cool. But it was just a great experience, honestly. And I think all in all, the rain held off for, like Carlos said, through most of the game. If it did rain, it was just minor annoyance than anything else. And yeah, we got to see a heck of a football game on top of that, so that made it all worth it too at the end. So, and we got to see some free football.
Kirby, I heard that I heard the part about you bringing up your reign. So you didn't look ridiculous at all, honestly. And like
I was dry. I was like, I don't know how ridiculous this is gonna look, but
yeah, me and Dan rocked the ponchos, and honestly, the
ponchos
were fantastic.
Yeah,
I
was good.
Completely dry. And yeah, I mean, look, in a rain game, it's about staying dry. It's not about like how you look.
It doesn't matter what you look, how you look. Yeah.
And yeah, to be honest, Kirby, you didn't look ridiculous at all. Like you looked prepared, and that's good.
I stayed really prepared. Boots the whole nine. I'm like, after we got in that parking garage, thank God the light rail was down, because that parking garage, we split parking 3 ways because it was expensive, but still, the fact is, you get inside a parking garage, it's not raining, take all the rain gear off and forget about it.
Yeah, exactly right.
So,
and then it started raining. Like I don't know if you mentioned it, Carlos or Kirby, but it started pouring as soon as we got outside.
Yeah,
I
did.
You, Carlos. Yeah.
And then later in the morning, it turned into snow, and it was
so
it was
weird.
it was a pain in the butt to get home that morning.
The weather is just so wacky, but
it was weird. Nobody was expecting it to turn into snow, and then nobody snow, and I was like, "What the heck just happened?"
I didn't even hear that it was going to snow at all.
I didn't either.
I'm like, what? It's very
weird. It was like 4 a.m. and I was like, all right, I think it's time for me to start heading home, and I look outside and there's snow on the ground, and I was like, well, I guess I gotta wait until they start plowing a little bit. And yeah,
so
luckily
weird.
It didn't stick too much to the roads, so that was
most on the grass, which is good. But yeah, no, it was a really fun weekend.
We had a blast.
So we had
a lot of great football games on top of that, which made it even better.
To be honest, though, we didn't really watch a lot of football. Like we were at the game, and then it took us forever to find a place to
eat. Yeah,
eat. And then by the time we got to a place to eat, like most of the games were already like either over or like about to be over. So
yeah, we saw the end of the
parking lot at the first beat ups was just incredibly packed.
Well, it wasn't just because it was. I mean, there was like 50 million restaurants there, so like it was just impossible. And then on top of that, I mean, we got to we got back in time to watch the Cowboys demolish the Eagles, so that was good. That was good.
Yeah, it was a really fun weekend. Really fun weekend with you guys.
It was a great weekend. It was a great weekend.
Granted, we were going to try to do a reaction episode to get something out there, but we were like,
we were too beat. We were way too tired. It was such a long day.
Too early on Sunday, to go to the game.
Yeah.
That breakfast place was fantastic, though.
Oh my God. The amount of bacon that comes on the side. I forget the name of the place. Oh, man.
Ooh, that was great.
Oh my gosh.
That was awesome.
So good.
Okay, but their chicken tenders
return
very
trip
mid.
to that restaurant when we're back up there.
What'd you say?
Yeah. Say it again?
We're gonna go back there.
Yeah, book a return trip to that restaurant when we're coming back up.
I don't think you have to make an appointment. I think you can just go.
Yeah, I think we just go. But also, that's a lot assuming that you're gonna be invited next time.
If you're gonna eat the pancakes, then we'll let it go.
Yeah, you.
I'm down.
Still owe us. I mean, we knocked it down to 40 instead of 48.
I gotcha. I'm getting 40.
Okay, says the guy who's owed it for almost 3 years now.
Yeah,
I'm ready whenever you are.
You've been saying that, but yet
you're not ready.
Trigger. This is your punishment. You have to pull the trigger.
I'll
order 40 of the Wonka pancakes and do that. That'd be
Wonka pancakes.
Yeah, the new Wonka line for IHOP.
I haven't.
No free ads. No free ads. No free ads.
All right, never mind. But
we'll
get it done. Let's get it done, boys. That's my present to you. Let's get this done.
All right, we're gonna. I don't know. Barbecue corn nuts. What the heck?
Oh my gosh. But anyways, that sort of puts a bow on last week when we didn't record. A lot of good games. The Cowboys beat the Eagles, but we can't touch on that because it has come and it has gone. But when we return, we talk about a very exciting week of the NFL that just took place over the course of this past weekend. You don't want to miss it. Much more to come on episode 196 coming up next. for sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals. When you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com. And we welcome you back to episode 196 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. Happy holidays to one and all. Back with the weapon Dan Dembski and the Swiss Army knife Carlos Martinez. Starting off for our teams, some good, some bad, but it's sort of going to be condensed. So starting off, the Chiefs win over the Patriots. It looked like the Chiefs... It started off close, Carlos, but the Chiefs ended up coming out getting the win. They were obviously the better team, but I'm sure there were some things you would have liked to see done better. I know you mentioned that Chiefs...
Hold on, no, stop. There's nothing else to say. It's just the same thing. It's just the same. That's it. I just need to see the things that I've been asking for them to do better to actually happen, and they're not happening, and I don't think they're going to happen. The Chiefs just aren't it this year, and Chiefs Kingdom needs to understand. We just need to accept it that unfortunately, while we have had this stout defense, this offense just has not lived up to their billing at all, and unfortunately, they're going to waste this great defense because they're gonna have to make some very tough cap decisions this offseason. So chances are, a lot of these guys aren't going to be on the roster, and it's a wasted year of Mahomes in his prime, and it sucks. By the way, he just signed a deal with Prime, so hey.
Well, anything to add there, Dan?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't want your tears, Dan. You said it in the group message. I shed no tears for the Chiefs.
Well,
it's fine. It's okay. If there was ever a year for your team to do it, it is this year when the Chiefs are down and out, and there's no realistic other competition in the way of you guys. I want you guys to do this so bad. I really do.
Yeah, but I'm not confident. I mean,
I understand. I understand, Dan. I totally
2019 still hurts, man. 2019
I totally
still hurts.
Understand. But again, if there was ever a time, there is no dominant team in the AFC right now.
Yep.
The Chiefs are available to get got. You guys are in prime position to get the number 1 seed, and you don't have to go through the 6th annual Arrowhead Invitational. You will have it at M&T Bank Stadium should the Chiefs somehow miraculously make it to the championship game. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think I have much to add. I wonder if there are a lot of off-field distractions this year for the Chiefs. A lot of time spent with State Farm commercials. I know they shoot those in the off season, but my point
No,
is like, is there too much off-field distraction? Is Taylor
no,
Swift
I
a
don't think.
distraction?
I don't think that. I think it's
That's a serious question.
definitely.
Yeah.
No, I think it's definitely. As much as I've tried denying it, I think it's
Yeah.
definitely because they don't have Bieniemy anymore. Bieniemy was the bad cop, and he was so good at holding these guys
Hold them
accountable.
accountable. Yeah.
And look, we saw what Matt Nagy was like in Chicago.
Couldn't.
He
wasn't.
couldn't.
He wasn't.
He was not. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Andy Reid isn't that guy either. Like, sure, like Andy Reid is a guy you respect, obviously, but he's not the guy who's going to like really embarrass.
He's not the bad cop. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was Eric Bieniemy, and I think it's gonna be a case of I just think Matt Nagy just isn't it, and I think definitely guys like Kadarius Toney, they already put Sky Moore on the IR. Marcus Valdez-Scantling, these guys just need to go because they're just not it. And luckily we've had the beauty of Rashee Rice. He's
been great,
playing fantastic, but he's a rookie, and it's unfair to ask him to be the savior. And I just don't think Travis Kelce's healthy. I think he obviously had the knee injury in the beginning of the year, then he hurt his ankle.
He's not. He's
also
not
a year
himself.
older. It just is what it is. Like maybe he's just starting to lose a step. But on top of that, also defenses are just honing in on him because they know if they shut him down, chances are nobody else is going to make a play except for maybe Rashee Rice here and there. So I don't know. There's all that, and sure. I think these guys are professionals. I think, if I don't think this whole Taylor Swift thing, I don't think the whole, just them being the Kansas City Chiefs, and being like the best team in the league for so long, I just don't think that that's really like affecting them the way some people are trying to say. I just think that it's a lot of the internal stuff. And also, I'm hating how they keep not wanting to like really address the problem and just say it out loud. Like, hey, these guys just aren't performing. They keep trying to lift them up.
Or that they'll find a way, or they'll find their way.
Like, guys, like we're in week.
We're almost 15, at the end of the season.
Yeah, we're almost at the end of the season.
We're running out of time.
Out yet? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah. No, I think that's perfectly said. I got no comment on that. I think you nailed all of it.
Yeah, that's about it. There's nothing to really say about the actual game itself. It's
it started rough, but they found a way. They didn't play perfect, but the Patriots are so bad that like there's no way the Chiefs could lose that game. There's just no way.
Yep.
I think it's definitely a couple bumps in the road for the Chiefs, but if they can make a few adjustments down the line.
Okay, but what adjustments, Kirby? What adjustments need to be made? Like tell me. Like I'm actually asking, what adjustments do you think?
To me, I think if they can, I'm not sure about Kadarius Toney. Did you see that one pass from Mahomes to Toney? He couldn't hold on to it, and he ended up getting intercepted.
Yeah.
Find some better receiver. I'm not saying all of them are terrible, but just find a good receiver. Because it just seems like all the time.
Okay, but how do you find a good receiver?
Go out and sign Jarvis Landry? Are these guys in football shape who are free agents?
That's what I'm saying, Kirby. What is the answer? Because we're in week 16 now. Those were conversations we were saying months ago.
Yeah,
that they needed to bring it. That we saw it from the very first game of the season. We saw these guys aren't catching. But that's been the issue. It's just not them not making plays. I mean, think about it. In all their losses, there has been a major drop that would have changed everything.
It's true.
Well, I'm sort of talking about because you don't think you're thinking that they're not going to make it to the Super Bowl, but I'm talking about more like big picture off season.
But that's not the conversation we're having. We're having the conversation about this season. That's a conversation we can have after the season's done. But we're talking about right now in this moment. How do you fix this?
You can't. I don't think you can.
I don't think you can.
There you go. So,
unfortunately, I mean, Kansas City. I mean, although they're going through some growing pains here with the receivers and all the other issues. They're still a well-coached football team. I feel like this is only temporary. That's just my thought.
It's been going on all
get it back on
season. What temporary?
Again, I'm just talking about big picture, but
that's not. This is the big picture. What? Okay, you know what? I didn't want to dabble too long on this because it's literally the same issues that I've been talking about all season. Let's move on.
Well, the Chiefs defeat the Patriots. We take a quick break, and we're back right after this.
Bedbugs. The only thing creepier than thinking about them is actually having them. Trust me, you don't want to have them. Locally owned and operated Barrett Pest and Termite Services can keep you from having bedbug nightmares and infestations. Call 540-340-3922 to schedule your free inspection and consultation. If bedbugs are already in your home, we'll get rid of them so you can rest easy. We also specialize in keeping homes and businesses free of other pests, including rodents and termites. That's Barrett Pest and Termite Services, 540-340-3922.
Welcome back to episode 196 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Continuing on, there were two games in the 4 o'clock late window. The Commanders falling to the Rams. I don't really care to touch on it, so we'll send it back to Carlos. The Cowboys falling to the Bills. Obviously, Carlos, I thought this game would have been more close, more competitive, but the Buffalo Bills coming out and just putting on a show for the most part.
Laying the lumber, if you will.
But if I were a Dallas fan, I'd be concerned just this game. But with the Eagles' loss, we'll probably talk about later, they're in the same spot. And I felt like there would have been more pressure if the Eagles were to have won that game last night. But just your overall thoughts, Carlos.
Now, just imagine if Dallas had actually won this game or had beaten Arizona. We control our own destiny here. Look, it was a very frustrating loss just because it really felt like Dallas came into the game super unprepared. I think they were expecting one thing. They were expecting Josh Allen, and then instead they got Cooks, which is obviously a totally different animal. Look, Dallas, the first mistake for Dallas was not taking the ball first. I mean, Dallas is a team that's built to play with the lead, and when they don't have the lead, it does not go well for them. They're not a team that's really built to come back from behind. They just don't have, they're just not that type of team. Obviously we were missing Jonathan Hankins in the middle, so that doesn't help. But in all honesty, they weren't even running the ball up the A gap. They were running it, on the edges. And to me, they were really running at Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons, as great as he is, as a generational talent as he is, he needs to really evolve as a defender to understand that not every play is about getting to the quarterback. And this game specifically, it was literally, we have to stop the run. Like, stop overcommitting and trying to get to Josh Allen, and understand that, like, hey, they're just handing it off. And they're saying, and they're making it personal. They're saying, hey, we don't think you can stop us. We're just going to keep running this thing. And they kept going, and they kept doing it. I mean, Josh Allen, they won this game with Josh Allen only completing 7 passes.
Mm-hmm.
That is insanity. And it's unacceptable. And Dan Quinn deserves a lot of flack here. He needs to be held accountable. And Mike McCarthy too, man, we can't have this right now. Like, we've been playing so well. And again, why is it that when Dallas is on the road, it's so different compared to when we're at home? At home, we look unstoppable. On the road, like, it's just not it. And I understand Buffalo is a hard place to play and everything, but you got to be able to overcome that, because these are the types of environments that you're going to see if we do end up being the 5 seed in the playoffs. Now, granted, do I think they're going to struggle in the first round? No, I think they're going to easily roll over whoever the NFC South champion is, but depending on who gets the 1 seed,
relegation.
depending on how things, depending on how
Get
everything
right out of my mouth.
that was the Panthers and the Falcons. That wasn't
But
the Bucs.
just the
All
NFC,
the teams.
NFC
the
South
whole
is
division.
The Bucs actually look good though. They actually look good against the Dan. You want to talk? You picked the Bucs.
Yeah, I picked the better team. Okay, what can I say?
The Bucs. Stop the cap. Okay, stop the cap.
I haven't heard that in a
Baker
while.
Mayfield has actually been playing very well lately. I mean,
yeah, he has been good recently. I gotta give it to him.
But back to it. I mean, depending on how things shake out in the playoffs, I mean, we might see San Francisco in the divisional round because the chances are they're going to get the 1 seed. And if that obviously if that happens, I mean, my season's done. Okay, I'm not even going to root for that. You know what? Just no. But yeah, no. I mean, look, there's a lot that Dallas needs to figure out, and a key stat that I've seen is that they have played, I think it's 3 of the top 7 rushing teams, and they've lost to all of them. And now they have Detroit and Miami next, who are 3 and 4 on that list. And that's concerning because, again, Hankins is definitely not playing this week. And this isn't just all on Hankins. Again, they were running it out, on the edge. They weren't going up the A gap, B gap. I mean, Josh Allen was in the B gap, but it was just not a great performance. It was very demoralizing. Do I think? I mean, if they play this game 10 times, I do think Dallas does win a couple times. But you could tell this was a game where the Bills were more desperate than the Cowboys. The Cowboys clinched the playoff berth without even playing it down. And they didn't. I just don't think they wanted it. They weren't as desperate as the Bills were. The Bills are desperate right now because they need to win out, because if they don't win out, they have no shot at the playoffs. And even if they win out, it's still going to be very hard for them to make it. Their best shot is hoping that Dallas beats Miami and hoping that the Ravens also beat Miami, and thus making the very last game of the year between them two for the division. But yeah. Dallas, it was not a great performance. Hurst was terrible. The linebackers were just getting bodied. The defensive line was getting no pressure, or was not no pressure, because there was nothing to pressure when Josh Allen is only completing 7 passes. But they were getting no run stops, mistakes, penalties. The Sam Williams roughing the punter. I hate that call because sometimes I'm just like, well, what is the guy supposed to do? He's,
it's a tough call.
It is
trying to make a play, and he's up in the air. Like, what is he supposed to do?
And punters do a good acting job. I mean, right? A lot of times.
Yeah.
Dallas,
but it's just like, hey, like, to me, it's like they're football players. They can't get hit. Like, why is the kicker so protected, or the punter? Like, hey, you're in the line of fire. Like, we're going for a block.
There's some reason why some kicker got injured back in the day and they changed it.
I don't know. To me, it's a dumb, because like there's running into the kicker, which, oh, God forbid they get bumped, and roughing the kicker, which God forbid they take a hit at all. It's so, this football is going to turn to flag football one day. But yeah, I don't know. It was a lot of, self-inflicted wounds for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott obviously had an awful game. Because of him being the Cowboys quarterback and all that stuff, he's obviously getting completely, shredded by the media, even though they were just praising him like a week ago. And God forbid he has a bad game. Yeah. Probably tanked his MVP chances, which again is,
I would say so,
annoying, but it is what it is. And I mean, look, the only bright spot was Brandon Aubrey, still perfect with his field goals, man. What a great kicker that is. What a great kicker. But yeah, aside from that, I think Dallas is going to respond. They always do. That's one thing you can always bet about a Mike McCarthy team, is they always respond well after a loss. And after a loss like this, we're going down to Miami. It's going to be a totally different weather, totally different environment. Obviously, you were fearful of Tyreek and all that stuff, but I think Dallas has I think they have what it takes to beat Miami. They just have to really take from the Kansas City defensive game plan, and I think they can do it. But this game, definitely just throw it out. I mean, watch the film, correct the mistakes, but never think about it again, just like the San Francisco game.
Yeah, I think what you said there at the end is probably the overall point. Also, I mean, you can't lose in that fashion. It's if they lost this game, it's one thing, but it's another thing to get just dominated from start to finish in all three phases. When everyone's riding high on you and slapping you on the back and saying how good you are. But that's kind of been how the season's been in general, right? Like as soon as somebody is crowned, they have a disappointing loss. We've seen it over and over this season. Which
we saw it with San Francisco earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm nervous about our game with the 49ers, which I'm sure we'll talk about on Christmas Day. Oh man,
you guys beat them.
Me too, but man, it's tough. It's gonna be tough. Yeah, that's basically all I have to say, Carlos. I think you covered all the issues pretty well. Inexcusable loss, and it not even that inexcusable loss in that fashion. You just can't do it. You just can't.
No team should beat us like that at all, aside from the 49ers.
Especially not the Bills. Like the Bills.
It just felt like, honestly, it did feel like the 49ers game where it just felt like their defense was just everywhere.
They were the field.
Yeah, they were all over the field, and it felt like our defense was nowhere. That's what it felt like, and yeah, just brutal. It was a brutal loss, but I'm not the way I was after the 49ers loss, where I was like, oh my God. Like I'm still optimistic because to me, it's like,
well, Philly lost too. So
the Philly loss
helps.
Definitely helped for sure.
That helps. Yep.
It definitely helped because look, honestly, if things kind of play out the way I hope it does and say the Giants somehow pull off, they could. It's not like Philly's playing well at all. Or the Cardinals, who I think is actually the team that might actually pull off the upset because Jonathan Gannon and him wanting to make a point and, show, beat his former team.
Mm-hmm.
I think, it's very realistic that Dallas maybe gets the 2 seed, should they beat Miami. But even they can even afford a loss to Miami and Detroit. Surprisingly, so long as Philly loses again, because then
that's tough. Because they get the Giants twice.
I know that's what I'm saying, but luckily with the Seattle loss, it does give Dallas a little leeway to maybe lose against the Dolphins or the Lions, but then they would again need Philly to lose again.
They would need some help still.
Yeah. But either way, we need Philly to lose again. But anywho, yeah, Dallas could get the number 2 seed, and that would be perfect because then you would get a home game in the wild card, home game in the divisional, and then you wouldn't have to, and say they do get to the NFC Championship game and have to face San Francisco. Again, it would be progress. It would be another year of progress of losing to San Francisco. We lost to them in the wild card. We lost to them in the divisional. Now we're going to lose to them in the NFC Championship game. It's perfect.
There you go.
Because then we can never lose to them any later. Then it's Super Bowl, baby. Super Bowl next year. Mark it down.
Super Bowl or bust.
We're an S-Bob team.
I think you all nailed it on the head right there. I don't really have much to add, but
you're not going to rub it in.
I think the Cowboys are resilient.
Nah, Kirby's been good at not rubbing it in this year.
No, I know he's not that kind of fan.
No,
not this year at least.
Well, when the Commanders suck as bad as they have,
they
you have nothing to say.
Before then, and you still talk your shit, your stuff,
a little bit.
But this year you've been very good.
He's been classy.
Why? Thank you. But the Cowboys,
which is why you get some corn nuts.
Thank you. So
good.
The Cowboys, they're a resilient team. They got punched in the face. Just a figure of speech. They got punched in the face. How are they going to respond next week? That's what I'm really curious to see. So,
yeah, that's it.
That's fair.
It's a great opponent too. You got to come with your A game.
Yep,
indeed.
And in other news, before we hit another commercial break. It is one of those, and one of those is the Commanders have been eliminated from playoff contention, and that's all the Commanders news that we're going to be touching on, because
that was on Sunday at 5 o'clock.
We're going to be
they were out of the playoffs.
Yeah, but on the pod, that's all I'm saying about it.
And in other news, water is wet.
Yeah, but
all right.
I don't think we have much to add on the Commanders' loss to the Rams.
I don't care.
You don't care.
It's not relevant.
I'm sure Dan doesn't care either, right, Dan?
No,
not really.
Okay, we're back right after this from a message from Mark Francis. Stick right here with us.
Hey, Kirby on Sports Podcast listeners, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate here. You know, it may seem scary or daunting at first to think about buying or selling a home. Well, look no further. Give me a call. 540-247-1527. There's nothing more than I love to do than help my friends make those transactions fun, interesting, and at the end of the day, productive. Look me up online, iconsells.com, and even better, find me on my podcast, Iconic Talk, with my co-host Megan Eanes. On any podcast platform, we will share all the local news about real estate markets and our local community. It's educational. Look us up. We'd love to help you. iconsells.com, 540-247-1527. Josh, back to you.
Thank you very much. Back once again with the weapon, Dan Dembski, and the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez. And Dan, another late night for you, another primetime matchup. The Ravens over the Jaguars 23-7, but an unfortunate injury in that matchup as well. Yeah, I saw the replay. It was gruesome. I'm sorry about that. It was gruesome. But a win's a win. How'd you like it?
I loved it. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Jacksonville Jaguars for shooting themselves in the foot about 30 times in this game. Because
I don't know what happened there.
Game starts off with back-to-back missed field goals, right? You got the Jags missing 2 field goals. Then on the ensuing drive, they fumble the football. So I'm loving that. And that fumble, Trevor Lawrence just drops the ball. He just forgets the ball. Like, what is he doing?
Like, the point of football is to carry the ball across the goal line. And
he wasn't hit or anything. Just straight up. I would never seen that. Like, I haven't seen that in a long time. Just straight up drop the football. I did it in the backyard a lot, but that's not. I'm not here to talk about my football career. It was a great win. The Jags definitely didn't come out with their A game, and I think the Ravens were able to take advantage of it. Offensively, I like what we did running the football. We finally got back to what we do best, and then that allows Lamar Jackson to do Lamar Jackson things.
Lamar play. We got an iconic Lamar play.
We have another one to add to the scrapbook.
Caliber play right
Thanks for taking Dan's point.
Yeah, that's what I said on Instagram, Kirby.
Damn. Still, stop stealing points, you point jacker.
What, you don't want me to say it's an MVP caliber play?
No, I want the guy who's actually the fan who said the point in the group message to say it.
But
yeah,
I agree with what Dan said. That was Dan's point.
No. Now you're just trying to save face. No. You're a point jacker. That is a criminal offense of mandatory 3 years on your record.
Ooh, that's tough to add to your 40 pancakes. You got 40 pancakes plus 3 years. Man,
anyways. Go on.
Well, continue.
And then, of course, I'm talking about Jacksonville still. At the end of the half, they forget what clock management is completely, and just
that was brutal.
Instead of spiking the ball, they decide to. I don't know what they were doing. Get tackled in bounds, and then the clock runs out at
I think they thought that they
7-yard line.
I think the guy. I can't remember which player it was. I think he thought he was out of bounds, and then because he was celebrating that he got like the first down.
Yeah.
And Trevor's over, and then they realized the clock was starting, so Trevor's trying to get everybody.
Yeah.
And then eventually Trevor just realized, oh, nobody's gonna get set in time, and he just walked off. He was like, "You guys are dumb."
Yeah. So instead of there even being like a 10-3 game at half, the Ravens go into the locker room up 10-0. So they had that momentum, and it wasn't all rainbows and pretty things for the Ravens either. They had some hiccups here and there, but I think they took care of business, and that's the biggest thing in my opinion on offense, especially like I said, running the football, and then opening up the play action and letting Lamar, like we said, let Lamar cook. Getting away from a tackle, spinning out of a sack, and then making a crazy throw to Isaiah Likely in between two defenders, mind you. It was a thing of beauty. It was a thing of beauty. I just have to sit back and just say thank God he's my quarterback. Like really, it's just like every week he just does something where it's like that's our guy. Like I don't want anyone else. I really don't. So I mean I was pretty happy with the overall performance. I felt like the Ravens defense at times certainly bent on a lot of drives, like I said early in the game. Obviously with those 2 missed field goals. But it seemed like every time that the Ravens needed a big stop, they got it. Or the Jags gave it to them, like the fumble. I know the one controversial play, that despite Terry McCulley's, or Macaulay, whatever the hell his name is, despite his ignorance, it was not clear and obvious a touchdown. I mean, come on.
I might have to disagree, but it looked like a clear and obvious touchdown to me.
No. Though he didn't have complete control throughout the entire process. What is a catch? We still don't know. Apparently, after all these years,
Dez caught it though.
Dez did catch it. I will agree with that.
Yeah.
I cannot comment on that catch. I saw
Shut the hell up. Oh wait, no, you're talking about that catch. Never mind. I thought you were talking about the Dez catch. I was gonna be like, shut up, you Commanders fan.
No, I cannot comment on that catch that you all were referring to.
It was close, but it was.
I saw a picture.
Yeah. It's you have to watch both angles. It's not. I mean, it didn't seem definitive to me.
But leave it to Chris Collinsworth and Terry McCulley to talk about rules all night.
Oh my God, how many times did they have him on? And Chris Collinsworth's like,
honest,
I learned something tonight.
I had this game on one of the side TVs in the bunker, and I was watching Christmas movies on the projectors. So I was only half watching, but I did obviously. I was paying attention when Lamar made that incredible play.
Oh man, it was just unbelievable. And the Ravens took care of business in the fourth quarter. They got 13 unanswered and were able to pull away with the win. And that's a tough environment to go down and win. I know Jacksonville's not considered one of the most feared places to go.
Yeah, but the Ravens haven't necessarily always had the greatest history down there.
It's true. And when we played them in London, I don't like to talk about that still. That's it's a brutal time. But we did what we had to do. We took care of business. We knew it was going to be a playoff atmosphere. A playoff team, obviously, we're playing. Well, now it's kind of up in the air. In that division, who knows?
Texas and the Colts.
Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought there'd be a 3-way tie for that division
with
like
the
5
Texans
weeks ago?
And the Colts of all teams. Like everybody thought it was going to be Jacksonville's. Like it still is Jacksonville's to lose.
Yeah, it is.
It's insane, man.
It just makes no sense. But I mean, I can't say enough about Lamar and just what he brings to this team. Almost had 100 yards rushing as well on top of his passing performance. I know his numbers, if you look at them, I mean, they're not like they don't make your eyes pop, but he's never been the kind of guy to go out and throw for 250, 300 yards. He's not going to do that. But what he is going to do is he's going to put the team on his back when he needs to. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he's the most valuable player on the Ravens, no question. I think he's definitely in the MVP conversation.
I think he should be.
Yeah. So
I just think his numbers. Don't think his numbers are good. Are good
his
enough.
Numbers
to get him
aren't
to
good
win.
compared. Right. Compared to, and not even compared to 4 years ago when he had, clear, much better numbers.
Yeah. So I think he just but he definitely needs to be in the conversation for sure.
Yeah, and I think if they beat the 49ers, I think he has to be. Like,
if they beat the 49ers, and let's say he just has an epic game, he's the MVP. He's the MVP.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
Because then he would have beaten Brock Purdy head-to-head, went to Brock Purdy's house.
That's right.
And muscled up and beaten him.
That's right. And most impressive, I talked about Lamar's running, but just how the Ravens space out the carries works really well. Obviously, Keaton Mitchell, big loss for the Ravens.
That sucks.
Really sucks. 73 yards before he went out with the injury, season-ending injury. But Gus Edwards and I thought Justice Hill came in and did a good job as well in his absence, and I think they're going to be fine. I think the difference this year when they've lost running backs in the past, like last year losing, I guess was it last year they lost J.K. Dobbins? He's been hurt now a couple years in a row, so it's hard to keep track.
I mean, I just don't
brutal.
think that's gonna ever happen.
It's not. Yeah, he's just
because then he tear his Achilles. I'm pretty sure he tore his Achilles.
Same injury as Aaron Rodgers. Yep.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Sucks that he couldn't try to make a comeback.
That guy is just a bag of hot air. But I think the difference this year compared to last year is they actually have depth at the running back position now. They didn't have that before, and so I mean we saw what happened when J.K. Dobbins got hurt. The Ravens running game never recovered. So I'm happy about that. I also love the way that Isaiah Likely stepped up. And Charlie Kohler as well. He had a nice game as well in the obviously Mark Andrews' absence. They've really stepped up nicely. It's been hard for the Ravens, and I think part of their passing game has struggled without Mark Andrews because of that element he brings as a security blanket to Lamar, as a guy who, F it, Mark Andrews is down there somewhere, type of throws that Lamar makes sometimes. That definitely has hurt the flow of the offense a little bit. I think they're starting to find their way. And, they have two solid tight ends there. So I have to credit the front office and what they've been able to do to give us more depth. I mean, it's something I've talked about the last, not just on this podcast, but in general for like 10 years. Like their lack of depth hurt them time and time again. So I think they've done a great job with that. I also want to give a shout out to Brandon Stevens. I thought he played a great game at corner. He did give up a couple big plays in this game. Look, the Jags are talented. They got some dogs on the outside there with Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley, of course, and Agnew had a solid game for them as well. But I felt like all in all, our secondary played extremely well. And like I said, our defense definitely bent at times, but they did not break, and that's been the key thing pretty much all season in these wins. And giving up only 7 points. Now, I know it could have been 13 or 14, rather. Maybe it should have been, but I'm just happy in general with how he played. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I thought they kept Trevor Lawrence in check for the most part, too. I feel like they really got better pressure on him in the second half. I was kind of concerned with that to start the game. It seemed like he had a lot of time to throw. And the Ravens were able to get after him quite a bit more in the second half. So overall, great performance. Justin Tucker looked good too. Gave him some good attempts. I think he was 3 for 3. So I love seeing that because he is struggled at times this year compared to what he normally does. He's still having a great season. But the Ravens got a big game coming up. We're gonna preview that, I know, in our pick'ems. So I don't want to spoil it too much, but this game of the season coming up here. I mean, that's
possible.
It's gonna be something. So that's really all I have to say.
And with that victory, the Ravens did clinch the playoffs officially.
Yes.
So,
and I think we have a scenario this weekend where we can win the AFC North. I think it's.
I mean, come on. Let's just
call it now. I know.
Honest. It's gonna
mathematically.
Just like Thanos, they are inevitable.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be great. But
I think the Ravens just keep on pushing. I know the game we're going to preview next week, that might be a
possible Super Bowl matchup.
Could be.
That is true as well.
Especially if the logo color conspiracy theory is correct.
Ah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good point.
But it's going to be really interesting to see. But the Ravens just keep on pushing. I like the Ravens. Not a fan, but I support the Ravens as well.
Well, they don't want your support anyways. You bring bad juju.
Almost cost us that game against the Rams, Kirby.
No, yeah, I'm so
also
sorry.
when we played the Browns last year. I said like I'm part of this freaking fan base.
But the Ravens with a big win over the Jacksonville Jaguars, 23-7, and they clinch the playoffs. No need to fear, ladies and gentlemen, the Christmas gift that keeps on giving. The breeze around the NFL in the Kirby on Sports PickEm is next. Stay tuned.
It's Matt from Shenandoah Music, and there has never been a better time to give the gift of music. These are our best deals of the season, with 30% off student band instruments, 10% off Fender American Pro guitars, 10% off Zildjian cymbal packs, and even more. And we've got gift cards and layaway available. Plus, you can buy now and pay later with the Shenandoah Music credit card, or you can pay with the firm. So when you think music, think Shenandoah Music in Winchester, across from B-Dubs.
Hi, this is Mark Peter Lynch with Guild Mortgage. One of the greatest joys in doing business over the last 30 years in the Shenandoah Valley is helping people buy their first home. Buying their first home and putting the keys in their hand at the closing table has brought me so much joy. If you want to buy your first home, a second home, or an investment property, or build wealth through investment in real estate, give me a call. My phone number is 540-664-4700, or you can find me on the World Wide Web at www.marksmortgage.com.
All right, it is that time, episode 196 of the Kirby on Sports podcast. It is time for the breeze around the NFL. Gentlemen, are we ready?
Let's roll.
On Thursday night, we witnessed a very lopsided, one-sided game. The Raiders over the LA Chargers 63-21.
Just brutal. It's embarrassing and brutal for the Chargers.
Shout out to the Chargers finally pulling the trigger and firing Brandon Staley. They should have done this weeks ago. They should have done it. They should have done it after the playoff game. They should have done it after that. But you know what? They made the right decision.
It took 63 points to pull the trigger.
It took a lot more than that, but it took a whole season of mediocrity and awful coaching to do that. But anywho, yeah, we'll see. We'll see where the Chargers go from here. And for the Raiders, I mean, congrats. I don't know. There's not much to say.
They're still the Raiders.
Moving on to the Saturday slate, the Bengals.
I seriously, boys, I totally did not forgot we had a Saturday slate.
I watched a couple games, but
I only watched the ending of that game, so I don't have a lot to say. But I mean, hey, Jake Browning's doing the thing and getting wins.
And I mean, just that athletic.
I think right now Cincinnati's in the playoffs.
Did you see that catch at the end?
No.
By who?
That Bengals catch, that touchdown catch.
Oh, yeah.
He reached literally back.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, that was an insane play.
It was a very close game, but the Bengals in the
You're asking Dan to praise the Bengals. That is asinine.
They have been impressive with Jake Browning. Better than I thought they would be.
Dare we say that
quarterback controversy? No, I'm just kidding.
No, dare we say that maybe that just means that Joe Burrow's a system quarterback?
I think he is. I mean,
dare we say that maybe the only reason why he's good is because he has fantastic weapons? I'm kidding. I'm not actually going to make this point because I think
Jamar Chase.
Joe Burrow is actually very good, but Jamar Chase did get injured, and it doesn't look like he's going to play this week coming up.
Yeah, it's a big loss. Yeah, big win for the Bengals. Didn't look good for him there for most of the game, but you got to give Jake Browning credit being able to put that offense together, get him down the field, and get them the win. That was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, the Colts over the Steelers 30-13.
I love the Steelers. I really do. I love it for them.
I've been waiting for this.
Now
it's so great.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very sore head from Myles Garrett's helmet. Or actually, I'm sorry, it was from his own helmet.
Dent. Yeah, the dent.
And if you ever saw him, you would even say it's hollow. Not a lot going on in there.
Well,
oh man, that's
the
terrible.
Colts just put a beating on them, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yes, the Colts.
Nothing makes me happier. Nothing makes me happier.
I don't have a whole lot to comment on this game.
But I love it.
I mean,
I saw bits and pieces, but the run game for the Colts, whoever was behind the quarterback there, Minshew, they got the job done.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah,
Now they're in a three-way tie for first place in the AFC South.
You're talking about Trey Sermon.
Correct.
I think. Well, Goodson had a good game too. They both did. So yeah,
Absolutely.
shout out to the Colts, man. Shout out to the Colts.
The
Tied for
Lions
first.
over the Broncos, 42-17.
Oof.
Let Russ cook some more, man. Damn, that was not great, man. Whatever he's cooking, I don't want it. I don't want what's on that menu.
I'm pretty sure the kitchen's burnt down.
Look, he had a nice little run there in the middle of the season, but it's over, and he's gonna get kicked out of the Rocky Mountain State here, and at the end of the season, and it's fine. I don't know where Russ goes from here. Maybe he ends up on your dumb team, but we'll see.
Yeah, it was it was a fun little 3-week stretch there where he was once again Russ, but yeah, he's back to his old self. Old self being the past couple years self.
Guys, would you have paid 49 cents to watch the Panthers beat the Falcons?
Not in that rain.
No chance.
Also, that game was god awful. 7-9, and like you lost
49 cents for tickets.
I don't give a damn about the tickets. Let's talk about the game.
Bad.
It was
It
all
was bad football. It was
Arthur
bad
Smith
football.
needs to be fired. He is not a good football coach.
His dad has like billions of dollars.
I don't know why
is-
he's even
why
doing
is
this. He
even
doesn't
working?
need to do this.
Why is he
Let's
coaching?
give it to a guy who's going to actually use the fantastic weapons that Atlanta has. And
Well.
also, let's have a plan at quarterback because Desmond Ridder and Taylor
He's
Heineke are not
awful.
it.
They're both trash. Yeah, you got to do something different.
Absolutely. But
And
Says the
congrats
big
to the
kid.
Panthers. Congrats.
Yeah,
on your
shout out to
second
them.
win.
You know, risking losing the number one. Well, it's not like they have the pick anyways. It goes. To
They don't really have
Chicago.
any competition. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they don't get the pick. That's the thing. So,
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
it goes to Chicago.
That's right.
So
They
it's
traded it.
Yeah. God, what an awful franchise.
Yeah, they're dopes.
What an
for sure.
awful franchise.
well, let's talk about a game that was more entertaining. Joe Flacco
Yeah.
gets it done.
That was a game.
Yeah.
Game.
Flacco threw 3 or 4 interceptions,
Flacco.
but 2 touchdowns. The Browns get the win 20-17.
Yeah, I want
What-
to talk
what
about
a
Justin
great
Fields.
game.
Justin Fields got absolutely screwed with some of those drops, man. He made
Yeah.
some plays, and
And the Hail Mary, too.
they had that
yeah,
Hail
drop
Mary. It was
in,
right in
brutal.
the guy's hands. I was like, no way. And then it went away, and I was like, oh, yeah, typical Bears. Typical Bears. Poor
They lost
Johnny.
in the most Bears way.
Poor
We feel-
Johnny, man.
We feel
he
for
must
our
be,
boy Johnny.
he must be dying.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that guy hasn't had a heart attack at this point with how up and down this team is. Yeah, man. But look, shout out to, Joe Flacco making the plays when he needs to make the plays, being a veteran. And the Browns are going to make the playoffs, man. And it's kind of ridiculous, but hey, good for
Joe
them.
Flacco and the Browns. Joe Flacco. leads the
January
Browns
Joe
to
is
the Super
dangerous.
Bowl.
You got to be careful with January
Yeah,
Joe.
you guys better watch out because he might become
might-
blood.
He might mess around and take.
He might
it
mess
get a
around and
little
beat the
run.
Ravens.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be that.
It's just nuts because like he comes out of the gate and he was terrible throughout much of that game. Threw a pick 6 and I was like, yep, this is the Joe Flacco that we saw towards the end of the Ravens. And then all of a sudden it's like, who is this guy? He's like throwing
that would be
dots.
absolutely funny though if the Ravens and the Browns match up in the first round of
No,
the
it would
playoffs.
not be
They would
funny. I
have
would
matched in the first
hate
round
that.
because chances are Baltimore's going to get the bye.
But hypothetically, Joe Flacco matching up and somehow they pull
No.
off. That
They
I
would
would
wouldn't
not
pull out
love
the
that.
win, but
I would not.
it
love
would
that.
not be a good time. He would be the most hated man in Baltimore.
Yeah.
He would go from being a beloved figure because he brought a Super Bowl to being like, piss off. You don't get free beers in this town anymore.
That's
Your
Lamar
Ravens card is revoked. I mean, it's already borderline revoked because he joined the Browns, but
now. I guess you go with who gives you money, right? And sometimes it's how it
absolutely.
is.
Moving on, the Texans over the Titans with Case Keenum under center for the
Legend.
Texans, and they win in overtime 19-16.
hey, the Texans get those jerseys now. Them's the rules. Them's is the rules.
That was really, really weird.
Them's is the. I mean, it was definitely personal. The Tennessee did that. I don't know why.
Yeah, they had to wait all season until they played that particular.
I mean, they've
game
worn
to
the
wear
jerseys before, but they get.
That,
you
I
get
know,
to wear
but
them
it's
2 or 3 times a season, I think.
it's
So
just bizarre.
It was definitely aimed
Purposeful.
at because, being like, hey, we used to be the Houston franchise, and then we decided to leave, and now you guys are, not. I don't know. I just feel like the Oilers should that whole brand or whatever should belong to Houston, but I don't make the rules here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't have much to say about the game itself.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot to say about the game. Texans stayed alive without CJ Stroud, and that's
Will
great.
Levis
They're a
did
good
not.
team.
Will Levis did not play well down the stretch.
Not down the
I
stretch.
agree.
Too much.
But I do see there's a lot of potential.
He has some flashes at times. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential there, and I'm just glad that he got drafted appropriately.
Yeah,
I don't think he was supposed to be the first rounder.
No.
Moving on, the Saints over the Giants, 24-6.
I don't care. Move on.
Goodbye, Tommy Cutlets.
Italian people. Yes. I don't know.
The
Dolphins
Gabagool.
over the Jets, 30-0.
I don't care.
I don't care either. Dan, do you care?
No.
Nope. Bucks over the Packers, 34-20. This was.
No, we kind of already talked about this game.
Yeah, I mean, Baker's looking pretty good, like you said. Dan.
Baker's looking good, but there's some good things I'm seeing from the Packers still. Like even though they lost, I'm still seeing a lot of good things, and I think, I
think the Packers bounce back.
I mean, I think they have a lot of hope for the future, and I think they do need to stick with Jordan Love.
I agree.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Niners over the Cardinals, 45-29.
Brutal.
Brutal.
I mean, the Cardinals were in the game for a little bit, and then the 49ers finally decided to
step up.
Take the kill shot, and also Brock Purdy had a little bit of a scary moment there and was down, but luckily came back and is okay. So that's good news. But yeah, I mean, the 49ers do what the 49ers do.
Take care of business. That's it.
Took care of business. And last but not least, cry, Eagles, cry. The Seahawks.
Yes, cry, Eagles, cry. Going to defeat. I'm so happy whenever the Eagles lose. The Cowboys can get their butts beat, but so long as the Eagles lose, I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm good. Because we beat that.
Didn't work out for Jalen Hurts.
Mr. Drew Lock, Mr. Backpack wearing Drew Lock.
You're right. You are correct, sir.
That was awesome. That was great. I really enjoyed that.
I'll be honest, I didn't even watch any of it.
I only watched the end because once I realized that it was coming down to the end and Seattle had the ball, I was like, oh, I got to tune in. And I tuned in, watched that whole entire last drive. That was epic. That was great. Bradbury, you're basura, man. You're straight trash. What was that?
What a catch by Smith and Jigba, though.
But it was also a perfectly placed ball.
Absolutely.
What a throw by Drew Lock. What a throw. And also the pass earlier to DK.
Really good. Yeah.
It was really good. Drew Lock had some great passes on that final drive.
Yeah, he might be a starter somewhere next year. No, I'm just kidding.
And I do not see that happening, but
dude, there's a lot of guys in this league. I don't know. He's definitely gonna have a spot on some roster because
he could definitely
we need quarterbacks.
Atlanta, and I bet you he'd be a better place for Atlanta other than freaking
Commanders.
This is terrible. Ritter's
you think
awful.
the Commanders should go after Drew Lock?
Nah, because I think him and Sam Howell are pretty much the same quarterback. Sam Howell, just honestly, for Sam Howell, it's not that he can't throw the ball.
I lose brain cells talking about them at this point.
No, but for Sam Howell, it's not that he can't throw the ball. The guy can throw the ball. It's just
decisions making is just.
Well, he also doesn't have time. That offensive line is awful. So I think it's just a different. I mean, I'm not saying Sam Howell is going to win a Super Bowl ever. I think he's a career backup, but.
Led the league in passing yards 6 weeks ago. Just so
and Kirby was trying to make the case that he was elite.
You know what's funny?
You know what's your fandom?
They put Brissett in, and he threw for more passing yards.
Yeah, he killed it.
Jacoby Brissett is a safe passer and makes the right decisions.
Yeah,
he's been around the league a little bit. Like you got to keep that.
I mean, honestly, Jacoby Brissett should be imagine Jacoby Brissett on the Falcons.
I just wanted
Jacoby Brissett on the Falcons.
That's who
would be winning the damn division.
That's who the Falcons should be playing. Yep, I got you. Agreed.
All right, but that wraps up the breeze around the NFL, and we're jumping right in to the Kirby on Sports PickEm, and let's send it to the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez.
Nobody
Indeed,
said this,
indeed.
but that hat looks really good on you, Carlos.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It looked, yeah.
You got it.
Anywho. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, obviously we missed last week, so we couldn't give you any updates on what happened last week, but we're here on this week. Right now, Dan has retaken first place after losing first place and then tying for first place, and now he has regained first place.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's a battle, man. And big news, Kirby has made this into a game. He has significantly closed the gap by 2 games. He was 7 games behind a few weeks ago. It's now down to 5. He is inching closer, and it's honestly fantastic. You know what? I'm actually happy that he's not getting blown out because honestly, it's more exciting when Kirby's in it too. Because look, it's going to be a battle down the stretch. So Kirby's within 5 games of myself. He's still 6 behind Dan. But realistically, he just has
couple
to keep
games
chipping
here
away.
and there, and he's back in it.
That's what I'm saying. He has to keep chipping away, and he's got a little bit of an opportunity this week to chip away at possibly 2 games, at least on you, Dan. Actually, on me too.
One game on me.
Actually, no, on me, he's got 3 games he could close the gap on should he hit correctly.
Oh, yeah.
In which he'll be 2 games away from me. Ooh, we could have ourselves an interesting week here. Kirby could be like right back into this thing.
Yeah.
Well done, Kirby. You've been making some very smart picks lately, and I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you, actually.
I appreciate it.
So again, the standings are: Dan is in first place with 58 and 32. I am in second place at 57 and 33, and Kirby is in last place at 52 and 38. I'm not going to give him a hard time because, like I said, he's actually been doing very well lately.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the games we will be picking this week are Cowboys, Dolphins, Ravens, 49ers, Browns, Texans, Cardinals, Bears, Saints, Rams, and Commanders, Jets. Why we picked some of those games, it's just because
luck of the draw.
I also there are some really fun matchups and some games that I was like, look, we need some parity because last week there was only one game that was different, and it was the Green Bay Tampa Bay thing. I needed us to have some different picks here and there, so I picked some tough ones. So I will go first as always. I will be taking the Cowboys as contractually obligated. I also think that they're going to rebound well, and I just don't think the Dolphins are not the Bills or the 49ers. They're not a physical team. They're a finesse team. Obviously, Tyreek Hill is scary, so that's going to be tough. And they do have a pretty decent running game, but I think Dallas is going to respond well, and they're going to get it figured out. I'm going to take the Ravens over the 49ers. This one's a little personal just because I would like the Ravens to help the Cowboys out a little bit here. But I just also think because the San Francisco doesn't see a team like the Ravens very often, I don't think they're going to be ready for the physicality that Baltimore brings, but also the finesse in the run game of Lamar Jackson and what he brings and the incredible plays he can make. I'm going to take the Texans over the Browns. I'm pretty sure CJ Stroud is playing in this game, and I'm just going with the Texans. Joe Flacco, despite having that epic ending of the game, I just don't know.
Bad start. Yeah.
We'll see. I'll take the Bears over the Cardinals, and I'll take the Rams over the Saints. The Rams,
they've been good recently.
They've been looking really good, despite obviously they lost to Baltimore, but it was down to the end. So,
yep.
And then I will take the Commanders over the Jets because the Jets are just god awful, and I think depending on who they start, the Commanders, it shouldn't matter who they start. The Commanders should realistically win this game, but, they're the Commanders, so they've been known to botch things. But with all that being said, I will send it to your first place contestant, Dan.
Well, thank you, Carlos. So the first game, Dallas visiting Miami. This game was tough for me. I had to think. I went back and forth. But right now, I don't trust Dallas on the road. I really don't. I think Miami's going to pull out a close win, and I think it's going to be a great game. I think we're going to see an instant classic type of game. So, but I'm going to go Miami with a slight victory, over Dallas. Ravens at 49ers. I have to pick my Baltimore Ravens. It's a tough game. It's a tough game. If I was impartial, I might pick the 49ers. But I think the Ravens got a pretty good shot to win this football game. I think, and all the reasons you said, Carlos, that's a great point about them not really seeing anyone like Lamar Jackson. There is no other Lamar Jackson. So, yeah, that's a solid point. So I'll just reiterate that one.
Well, just a little side point though.
Yeah.
Baltimore's a team that can match San Francisco in physicality.
Yeah, true.
So that's another thing.
Good point. I'm going to pick the Texans over the Browns, and they're just playing better football right now. I think they're the better team, especially if C.J. Stroud does start, which I think he's projected to play. So, yeah, I like the Texans in that situation. Give me the Bears over the Cardinals. Not easy to pick that one, but the Cardinals are abysmal. Bears are slightly better. Give me the Bears. And then, like Carlos said, I'm going to take the Rams over the Saints. Playing better football right now. Looking more like a playoff team week by week. So I like the Rams at home in this game. And then lastly, I will also be taking the Commanders on the road against the New York Jets. They are a complete mess and dysfunction right now.
Both teams.
Yeah, but the Jets maybe even more so. So with that, I will throw it to your co-founder and host. Actually, founder. What am I saying? He's not co-founder. Founder and host, Josh Cream Cheese Kirby. Over to you.
Thank you very much,
cream cheese
Dan.
in a minute.
Thank you very much. So, with that, the Dolphins and the Cowboys, I'm picking the Dolphins. It's a home game for the Dolphins. Looking at the explosiveness of what the Dolphins bring, I have the slight edge to the Dolphins, unfortunately. Moving to the Ravens 49ers, I'm giving the slight edge to the 49ers. Sorry, Dan, but just looking at what the 49ers have, I think they get the job done. But again, if the Ravens pull out the victory, I'm not going to be mad about that. I like Joe Flacco. I'm picking the Browns just because of Joe Flacco, but that could backfire in my face pretty bad. But who knows?
Out of the question.
Who knows? And then I'll be picking the Bears over the Cardinals because what's up with Cardinals, I'm not really sure. The Rams are playing great football, and I'm contractually obligated to pick the Riverboat Ron Rivera-led Washington Commanders.
It's going to be a blessing when this era is over.
He is such a bad coach. It's just...
Okay, scenarios. Dan, we only have one game different, so best I can do is tie you.
Yep.
Kirby, like I said, has the opportunity to gain 3 games on me, and thus making it a only 2-game difference between me and him,
and 2 on me,
and 2 on you too as well. No, yeah, he can only catch 2 games on you.
Yeah,
3 on me.
Yep.
So therefore, yeah. So yeah, a lot riding on this week for you, Kirby.
It's true.
Yep, absolutely.
Because what if this completely backfires and you just completely botch the week, and you miss on all 3 of those picks, and you go 3-3?
Wouldn't be good, but
would be brutal.
That's why we play the game.
Then we would really have to call you the Russell Wilson here, because you had a nice strong surge here in the middle, and then you collapsed. But we haven't reached that point, so we can't make that joke. And honestly, you could easily go like 2-1 too. Also, it's
well, listen, with the Week 16 pick'em, as always, we're posting this on our social media, the Kirby on Sports Podcast Facebook page. Go like us, follow us over there, and pick with us these 6 games. Whoever gets.
By the way, Kirby, you found a loophole. By the way, you cheated.
How?
You cheated on this.
How?
You found the loophole. You had your dad be in the pick'ems in the comments and win a free pizza.
No.
You cheated. You cheated.
Yeah, that's
that needs to go to the committee. It needs to go to internal affairs.
College football playoff committee is going to vote on that.
Happening here, and I will not stand for it. I will be contacting Felice immediately.
And then Felice is
for the record, I did not tell my dad to post that. So
okay, but you chose the winner.
Somehow I don't believe that either, but okay.
Well, he picked the Bears because there was discrepancy over what the Bears and the Browns logo.
Yeah,
There's a
And
clear
he
difference
goes on a rant saying, "Why are the Browns a picture of a dog?
because they're
It's
the
a
dog
brown
pound.
the
helmet."
dog
The
pound.
dog
I don't
I
know the
know
history
he
behind
doesn't
it.
understand it. He doesn't understand it.
Well, he
I
better
mean,
get the program, baby, because that's what
it's
it
odd.
is.
It is odd. I
I've
don't
told him.
disagree.
I've told him.
Okay, but now you're just doing this distracting thing. There is a legitimate issue with having your dad win a Pick'ems challenge for a week and get free pizza when
It's not
the
fair.
three of us can't do that.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
He did that independently.
Okay, but
I didn't do it.
okay, I'll believe it after the investigation is done.
Okay, well, look at the Pick'ems this week and the last week and the week upcoming.
But you get to benefit from it. You're gonna get a free pizza out of it.
No,
You
I
live in the
don't.
same household.
Doesn't mean I eat the same food all the time.
Yeah, because
Carlos,
If there's
Carlos.
pizza, we're
No,
we're all
Carlos.
gonna eat pizza.
Carlos.
we are sending this to the committee.
Carlos.
It will be reviewed, and the punishments
Carlos.
will be handed down.
Carlos.
Fines
It's
will be
time for an
given.
internal
Babies
audit, my
will
guy.
be sacrificed. I don't
Carlos.
know.
Audit.
I
2
understand
words.
your concern. It is a legitimate concern. and
Oh,
I will try better to fix it. That was my fault.
No.
Sorry to the
no.
people
I don't
of the
trust
Trying
you to
better.
fix this. We're sending this to the committee. The committee
better
will
won't do it.
decide the punishments that need to be handed through here.
yep.
Well,
Shout out to Ron Kirby, by the way.
We appreciate the support.
We
Mr.
appreciate
Ron
you so
Kirby.
much. We really do.
well, that about wraps it up for episode 196. I might get an internal audit after this. I'll keep you updated.
The
But
IRS
yeah.
is coming for you, baby.
yep,
There's
Check
only-
your email.
absolutely.
Check your email.
Yeah,
You know.
buddy. So for our sponsors, we thank them for all the support throughout the course of this season and through the holidays. As always, thank you very much. And just happy holidays to each and every one of you. Our sponsors, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett, Pest and Termite Services, Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage, Shenandoah Music, and the official energy drink of the Kirby on Sports podcast, Don't Sleep Energy. Use promo code KOS Podcast for 12% off your order every single time at don'tsleepenergy.com.
So confused.
Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, YouTube page. Find us on all streaming platforms. Give us a 5-star rating. We appreciate your support, however you are finding us.
Before we go, real quick, what is your guys' favorite Christmas songs?
Oh, it's tough, man. It's tough to pick one.
I already know Kirby's. You already
Feliz
told-
Navidad's one.
We already told you. You told us that when we were out.
Here
I don't
comes
know.
Santa Claus.
That's lame.
Not the Gene Autry one. That's the good one.
The old school.
Gene Autry's a legend.
No comment. I don't know who Gene Autry is.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. That's like
It's
that gets
the
me hyped.
most wonderful time.
It's got
of
everything, the
year. I mean, it's
parties,
okay to be
the
wrong, guys.
eating,
You guys are all
the
wrong.
drinking.
It's fine.
Okay, I know.
we already-
I
You already know
I know
what
what
it
yours is. Yeah, tell the people.
It's Last Christmas by Wham. It's the greatest song. It's the greatest ever. There's nothing better than that song. Nothing. Mariah Carey can't touch it. She can't touch that song.
I do. I didn't like that when I was younger, but I like it now. It's not one of my favorites, but
Oh, it's the best.
I've
It's
got a
the
soft
greatest.
spot for it. Though.
It's the greatest song of all time.
But as always, check us out, KirbyOnSports.com. And gentlemen, should we end with a Christmas carol to send us
No.
off?
I don't want to hurt the viewer
No.
or the listener's ears. We cannot
Yeah,
sing.
I would prefer they listen to something on their connected devices. That's
Well,
professional. in
ladies and
nature.
gentlemen, with that being said,
Listen to
thank
Last
you
Christmas by
for the
Wham.
support.
If you're going
Thank
to pick
you
anyone,
for
it's that
all
one.
of the support. We wish you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. And as always, thank you for your support. We greatly appreciate it. Until next time.
Happy
For the Swiss Army-
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not Thanksgiving. It's not Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you next time. Bye.
For the weapon, Dan Dembski, the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez, I am Josh Kirby. Thank you very much. Enjoy your Christmas, and we will catch you next time. Much love, peace, and prosperity.